We are truly blessed here at Wallace for Wellness to be surrounded by not only a really talented team, but surrounded by really talented people that come here to the clinic. I'm honored to be sitting beside someone here today that's been coming to Wallace for Wellness for over 15 years. That's right, we're in our second decade. Tori McMahon has a wonderful life, not only as a mother, she's a retired teacher, but has added something new to her resume and is fresh back from her trip as she summited Kilimanjaro. You know, this is such an inspiring story, so I'm so excited to share it with you because it speaks to the whole concept that you can do anything you want to do if you surround yourself with the right attitude and the right people. So welcome, Tori.
Well, thank you for having me.
So now, to get to this point takes a lot of work and a lot of energy, and you have to surround yourself with the right people. But what was the reasoning right from the beginning that you wanted to climb Kilimanjaro?
Well, I had heard about it when I was about 15, and even from that age, I knew it was something that I really, really wanted to do. And so I talked about it off and on for years, never had the money, never had the time. And a friend of mine, we were just talking about traveling and what we would like to do last year. And she said that was still something that she wanted to do. So we just said, well, we don't know if they'd even take women our age, but why don't you phone and find out?
Right.
Because we really didn't think that women our age would be allowed to climb. And just after I talked to her, I came back from a holiday, and a friend of mine had told me that I hadn't seen since university that she had done it. So that sort of sparked my interest even more.
Right.
And this just happened to be a year where my daughter wasn't having a baby, or there's nobody in our family that was really ill, so I knew that I kind of had the time.
Right.
And there was a window. And many of my friends were becoming ill. Hip replacements, heart valve replacements, cataracts, all kinds of things, and I thought, well, that's what's in store for me. I better do this now.
Right, right.
So I'm healthy, relatively speaking, so I thought this was my opportunity, so I just jumped at it.
Well, and I know you engaged us here at the clinic to help you, and we actually felt really honored to be part of your process and watching your development all the way through, from helping you physically. How did you emotionally prepare to get ready for this?
Well, I had so many friends that helped me. You know, I've always been active, but not super active. And so when my friends heard that I was going to go up at the cottage, all of a sudden, these group of women started coming over to my dock at 9 o'clock in the morning so we could do an hour of light weights. Other people would come at 2 o'clock so that we could do a 2-hour hike.
Amazing.
You know, so people just, other people started phoning me and saying, I hear you want to hike, can I come with you?
Right.
My neighbor that I've been friends with, or neighbors with, for 25 years, we've been neighbors, very good neighbors for 25 years, but never friends because we didn't have time.
Right.
We just started to take the time. And she said, well, I'll walk with you. So every day for an hour and a half, she would go out and walk with me, which is really now developed in not a neighbor, but a friend.
Right.
So, you know, people just start coming out of the woodwork to help me.
Well, because it's so inspiring, and it does speak to the fact that, you know, why not? Why not try to do something like this? So you're a real inspiration. So now tell us a little bit about the climb itself. How many days was it? I see this incredible pack, which I got to give a call out to Roger, your husband, who helped you fill this pack and make sure you were safe on your journey.
Yes.
Tell us a little about the climb itself.
Well, many people will do it in different ways. There's different routes to go up the mountain, and you have to choose the one that's right for you, and you have to choose a company that you're going to feel comfortable with, because not all companies are ethical
right.
In the way that they treat their African employees. So you have to look for that.
So how long did it take you to actually summit Kilimanjaro?
I took a trip that took 8 days to climb up and 2 days to climb down. But people can do it in as little as 5 days. But that's not really recommended because the big question on Mount Kilimanjaro is the effective altitude. So I took a trip that would allow me more time to acclimatize.
Right. And you've shared with me already how the care that you had in terms of medical care, you were taken care of every day. Things were checked. What were they checking for every morning?
Well, every morning they would check to make sure that you had no real ill effects of the altitude. So they would check your lungs, they would check your oxygen saturation, they check your heart rate, and then they'd also give you a questionnaire so that if you had things like headache, insomnia, you know, that type of thing. So what they're really looking for is to make sure that you are having no ill effects of the altitude.
And that made you, as you shared with me, made you feel really safe.
Oh.
It was a really safe journey.
Yeah, and it's very important because this particular company also checked their crew.
Right.
And so I had a picture here of just them showing you all the crew lining up and getting checked.
Well, and that's really, really important. So everybody wants to know, what is it like on summit day, and what did you feel like at the top, and what went through your head?
There's a little of euphoria because you realize that you've been hiking for 8 hours a day for 8 days, and the fact that you actually made it there. And even though everybody in our group summited, there's groups all around us where not everybody does. And I think the average on the mountain is maybe really only 50% of the people who actually start will finish. And again, it's the big unknown, which is the altitude. So I think physically we were all good, and I have to thank the clinic for that, because it took me a year to prepare, and you cannot climb that mountain if you've got aches and pains or you have niggling injuries. So I had Jen here, the physiotherapist, and she helped me because I had a bad hip before and a shoulder, which I knew I could not do that kind of a hike until they were taken care of. I came for Paula. I had a bit of a crisis with my feet before I came, and so Paula helped me with reconfiguring boots and what I was going to do there, and that was so important. And of course you, because I came for regular treatments all the way along, so I didn't have muscle injuries or anything that was torn or you know, as I went. And that was, I realized when I got there, everybody told me it was important. When I realized I got there, you just couldn't do it if you had injuries.
Now you're holding another picture about when you're at the summit, which it made me tearful.
Makes me tearful too.
Tell me what's in your hand.
Well, different people will carry different things up the hill, and what I did was carry the names of the women who had helped me, because just from the women on the dock to the women in my neighborhood, everybody contributed something. So I really didn't think this was just for me alone. I did it for all people who couldn't do it.
Exactly. And I know firsthand, because your husband was in here having treatment when you were away. He was your biggest cheerleader, so concerned for your safety, celebrated with you, kept us all in the loop. Tori, this is not only an inspiring story just because of that you've done this, but this really does show everyone that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. I think you can, and I would encourage anybody who even thinks that they might want to do it to consider it, because it is doable.
And whether it's Kilimanjaro or you have another dream, right? It's just a matter of putting your mind to it, surrounding yourself, and having the right attitude, the right equipment. This looks really scary, actually. You carried this all the way up to the top of the mountain. But thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what your next challenge is going to be.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.